Good morning. It is one of the greatest things that I think I can um, do is start my day with a Dow. And here it is. Like usually, I like to do these about 8 o'clock or whatnot. But today, I am up and I am ready, and I want you to join me uh, to pick a number between 1 and 81, and I will read your Dow for the day. The nice thing about starting the Dow early or starting your day with a Dow as early as you can, and you get to meditate on it all day. So yeah, last night I had been inspired to pick 24, and I'll probably just start there. But if anybody wants to jump on before we get into that, just pick a number between 1 and 81, and we'll go ahead and go through your Dow for the day. The Dow that I had picked last night, like I mentioned, was 24. He who stands on tiptoes does not stand firm. He who rushes ahead doesn't get far. He who tries to shine dims his own light. He who defines himself cannot know who he really is. He who has power over others cannot empower himself. And he who clings to his work will create nothing that endures. If you want to accord with the Tao, just do your job, then let go. And I wanted to go through this because although I read it last night and I understood what it meant for me, I didn't really go through it line by line. And this is this Tao of the day that I do in the mornings here on Wisdom is a way for me to go through these Tao verses one by one and line by line. And he who stands on tiptoe doesn't stand firm. And the question that we have to ask, of course, yeah, if you're on tiptoes, you're not standing firm. But when do you stand on tiptoes? You know, and I look at standing on tiptoes as trying to look ahead. Like you stand on tiptoes and you put your hand over your eye, like right that image of standing on tiptoes, trying to see over something, trying to see beyond the horizon, trying to understand what's ahead of you. And if you are looking ahead, if you are looking in front of you, and if you are trying to see what is in front of you, you're not standing firm where you are. And so he who stands on tiptoe doesn't stand firm. Because, and you think about this space of like, when are you standing on your tiptoes? And that just in this moment, I'm realizing that you stand on your tiptoes to try and see further. You feel like you can get a little further beyond the horizon by standing on your tiptoes. But when you do that, when you try and see beyond the horizon, beyond what you're present with, beyond what you're experiencing in this moment, you're not standing firm. You're standing in a space that is unbalanced. So be here, be now. Be right here in this moment. Because if you can be here in this moment, then you can experience all that is here, and all that is here is you, right? Like you are everything that is around you. You are everything you are experiencing, and it's got something for you. It's got something to teach you, or it's got something to show you. So for those of you who have popped in since I've begun, this is the Tao of the day. Every day, I love choosing a number for the Tao for me, and I chose 24. But I would also like you to join me and pick a number. I'll always come back to 24 and continue talking about mine. So if you come on, we'll just go to your Tao of the day, go through that, and then I can always return to mine when nobody is in line. So if you are interested in picking a number between 1 and 81 and having a little something to meditate on your day, come on, join me and give me a number. So to continue with 24, he who rushes ahead doesn't go far. This is just like we were talking about for the first line. He who stands on tiptoe doesn't stand firm, but he who rushes ahead doesn't go far. If you try to get to your destination, if you're trying to whip through an experience so that you can get to the end of it, well, you're gonna be corrected by the work that is around you, right? Like, and it is very possible that I was rushing ahead in parts of my life that I now need to be able to whoop, 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 whoop. You're not going far. Let's just sit with this, right? Stop trying to stand on tiptoes. Stop trying to kind of like unbalance things. Like, be here, be present with the moment, see yourself in this moment, and in that way we can go much further. He who tries to shine dims his own light. Like, I don't know if this relates to me in this moment. I'm sure it does, because everything always does, right? Like, but he who tries to shine, like, there is no reason to try. There's never a reason to try to do something, especially shine, because we have light within us. We each have light within us that is deep and penetrating. And it's real important for us to recognize that. And if we do recognize that, and if we do know that, then we're not going to try and see into the future standing on tiptoes, or rush to what we see, right? Rush to some destination, rush to some place. We can sit here and we can be who we are, and we don't have to dim ourselves to try and be something for someone else, because like shining is about another person, is about other people. He who tries to shine tries to shine in front of other people. Like, but your own light is yours, and it has nothing to do with other people. It's something that you were given. It's something that you were gifted for your life. He who defines himself can't know who he really is. This relates back, this line relates back, for me at least, this line relates back to the idea that if you can explain who or what God is, that's not it, right? This explains that too. If you can define yourself, if you can explain who you are and what you are, and the reach of your person, you can't actually know who you are and what your potential is. It is so important that we don't define ourselves. We don't limit ourselves to finishing that age-old phrase, I am, with anything other than a period, because I am, and that is all. I do not have to sit here and try and be like, I am an artist, I am a lover, I am a this, I am a that. No, all of that is limiting. Who I am and what I am is indefinable. And so if we try to define ourselves, we're never going to know what our actual potential is, because the definition is just going to be in what we understand. It's not going to be it's not like our definition isn't going to be in a space of all knowing and all potential, right? We are always going to limit it. I one time went to a metaphysics group or whatever, and I talked to somebody that was trying to inundate me into their process. And I was like, wait a minute, how would you finish the sentence, I am? And he gave me this whole list of things. And I told him, like, well, you can continue on doing that for the next 12 years and you still won't encapsulate all that you are. I was like, just end it in a period. There's no reason to continue expressing the limits that you see yourself as. It's so important for us to define ourselves. It's so important to not define ourselves, so that we don't get bogged down in the old ideas of who we thought we were yesterday. Today we are a new person, and today we can explore being a new person and being the person that we are today, without having to define or live up to the definitions of who we were yesterday. Even if you define who you want to be in the future, that is still holding on to identity, and you're still standing on tiptoes and trying to rush ahead to that thing. There's no reason to rush ahead to it, because it's coming to you. There's no reason to dive into it. There's no reason to look for it, because that which is yours is coming to you now. And that is one of the greatest things that we could really embody. If we can embody that, then stress and sadness and all of these other things for what we expect is going to slide away. But we can be here firmly in the present with ourselves, as everything is just a reflection of ourselves anyway. The manifestation of our lives is who we are, who we have expressed ourselves to be. And so here we are, living in this space. He who has power over others cannot empower themselves. And this is interesting because maybe you have power over others and you're not aware of it, or maybe you have power over others and that wasn't your intention. But when you do, it could very well get in the way of us being who we are, of us embracing our complete power. And how do we empower ourselves if we have power over others? And I might not understand this line as much as I would like at this moment, but I'm still trying to explore it and still trying to see what it might have for me in my life today. Because I don't want to have power over others. I like when I work with my clients, I only work with them for 4 sessions because I want them to go out and live their lives. I don't want them to live under my influence. I don't want to have power over them in any way. I want them to realize their power. And I want all of my friends and my people and everything to just realize that they are powerful, and I don't want any power in their lives. I want to be a support and a cheerleader, and I want to be there as someone who can empower myself and then inspire others. And once again, this is the Tao of the day. Every day I come on at some point. Usually it's about 8 o'clock, but today I'm doing it around quite a bit earlier, a little more than an hour earlier than I normally do. I'm in Central Time here in Chicago. So if you want to come on and choose a Tao, I would just ask that you pick a number between 1 and 81, and we'll have a conversation about that chapter, about that verse. So I chose number 24. I'll read it again in a little bit, but I am working on it line by line at this point. He who clings to his work will create nothing that endures. And we can see people who are going to fall, right? Like we can see people who have done things that are going to fail over time, right? If you're kind of aware, you might be able to see how the work of some people, when they cling to their work, when they cling to that which they do, like rather than who they are, the work isn't going to last forever. It's going to fade. We look at the work of, even writers and politicians and writers and artists. Like some of these works have lasted centuries, but that doesn't mean it's going to last forever. We look at the caves of Lascaux and we see that that's lasting forever, right? Those are going to last forever. And the reason is they put it somewhere they couldn't cling. They put it on the side of a wall in a cave in which light entered 1 day a year. It wasn't theirs. They let it go. They allowed it to be where it was. They didn't cling to it. They didn't bury their people there. They didn't stay there. There was a place to just do that. And I'm an artist, so when I hear work, sometimes I do think of art, right? He who clings to his work, and I look at my work, I look at my podcast, and I look at the work that I do in the way I treat other people, the way I care about people, the work that I do in everything I do, from cooking my food to sharing with people, to engaging with people, to talking on wisdom. This is my work. If I were to cling to this work and say, this work is meaningful and gives me something, this work that I am doing is something that defines who I am, well, then I will create nothing that endures, right? It's just going to be me, essentially just masturbating. And once that's over, once I get my rush, it's over. And the thing is things like love and personal like fulfillment don't come like that, right? It doesn't get expressed in a way that is it doesn't get expressed in a way that needs to be clung to, and it doesn't get expressed in a way that can fall away. It is just present. And when you are present in this moment and fulfilled with that which you are, the work that you are doing right now, and if you have without having an idea of what the future holds because of your work, right? Like, so we go back to the beginning. He who stands on tiptoes, looking at the horizon, trying to look beyond the horizon. If you do that, you don't stand firm. And if you're doing that, maybe you're looking to the horizon to see, what is your work going to yield you? He who rushes ahead doesn't go far. He who rushes ahead to, through their work, right? Because I'm clinging to the work so much, I'm rushing ahead. But I'm not going to get far. And it doesn't mean that ultimately you won't get far. Maybe you just won't get far now. But either way, you are going to have to yield to those things, to those forces that are going to force themselves upon you because you're trying to force your way forward. He who tries to shine dims his own light. And I'm trying to relate all of this back to clinging to his own work, right? When you cling to your own work, and you try to shine, you're trying to shine, right? Like being here on Wisdom, if this was my point, if everything I said was like, I'm gaining from this moment, like I'm definitely clinging to that work and I'm trying to shine. I'm trying to be like, this is me, but it's not who I am, right? So, I want to just express this is the Tao of the day. I come on every day at some point in the morning usually and ask you to pick a number from 1 to 81. Today I'm working with number 24. That's my number for today. Actually, it was my number last night and I am going through it now. Just line by line, because as I read it yesterday, I didn't really do that. I saw one part that rang true, and now I decided that I wanted to kind of go through it and see it, which is why I'm on a little earlier than I normally am. So if you want to join me, I can always take a break from 24. We'll look at your Tao, and then we'll move on with 24. He who has power over others can't empower himself. And power over others may be in your work, and he who clings to his work will create nothing that endures. Right? You can endure. Right? Like you can endure so much. But if you're clinging to the work, you're going to create nothing that endures. It's interesting. I'm not exactly sure where I can take all of that, but I think I've covered most of that. And then these last two lines, if you want to accord with the Tao, which I do, you just do your job and then let go. Right? You don't try and predict what's going to happen in the future. You don't try and say, well, this is how it's going to be and this is what I'm achieving. You don't try to define it. You don't try to define yourself. You don't try to do any of that. What you do is you step up, you do your work, and you let it go. And if you have not tried to shine, or if you did not rush forward, if you did not stand on your tiptoes, if you did not try to predict its destination, then the work is going to endure. How it's going to endure may be very different. You may affect somebody that, their children will shine that light that you shone on them. And you may never get to see you may never get to see the flower from the seeds you sow. But it is always about just being able to do your job. Like for me, showing up, talking about the Tao, asking you to come and pick a number between 1 and 81 so we can talk about one. That's my work. Whether I do it well or do it poorly, doesn't matter. I just do my job and then let go. Let go of the destination. Let go of the results. Let go. I was talking to someone the other day, like when I work with my clients, I don't care. Like if you want to lose weight, let you know, I don't care. I don't care that you want to lose weight. You may. I don't care that you want another job. I don't care that you want to manifest a Mercedes. I don't care what you want. What you want is probably tied up in the manifestation. And the manifestation, I just don't care about. I don't care about your manifestation. I don't care about the manifestation around us. What I care about is what's deeper than that. What I care about is what's inside of that. How is that manifestation expressed? And how did it come about? Just do your job and then let go. Because if you want to lose weight and you're standing on tiptoes looking forward, if you want to lose weight, you're probably rushing ahead, trying to do things that, will cause your body to lose weight. But your mind is still stuck in a place that it's not ready for that. And so that's just going to spill out into something else. And I don't care what you think you want in your life, because even in here, he who defines himself cannot know who he really is. If you are trying to define yourself as someone who is something, rather than being here in the moment, you're always going to miss it. You're going to miss who you are. And as you miss who you are, you're going to totally miss the beauty in your life. Once again, this is the Tao of the day. Every day I come on in the morning at some point. I'm about an hour earlier than normal, so no one has joined me yet, but I do welcome anybody who's listening right now to come on, pick a number from 1 to 81, and we'll go through your Tao for the day. I'm going to go ahead and read 24 again right through, and we'll see if anybody wants to come on. He who stands on tiptoes doesn't stand firm. He who rushes ahead doesn't go far. He who tries to shine will only dim his own light. He who defines himself can't know who he really is. He who has power over others can't empower himself. He who clings to his work will create nothing that endures. If you want to accord with the Tao, just do your job and then let go. And so that's my calling, right? Today. It's my calling today, to do your job and let go. What is your job? Your job is to be you. To be you as much as you can right now. If you doubt if you're being you, wait and find out. You will know. It will speak to you. If you are here and you'd like to pick a number between 1 and 81 and talk about one of the Tao, be my guest, join me. I would love to hear from you. Just do your job, then let go. Just let go. Your job will be done. It is not necessary for you to stand on your tiptoes and look at the horizon to find out how it's going to be done. It's not your job to rush ahead to see if it's getting done. It's not your job to shine for other people because you're only dimming your own light. He who defines himself can't know who he really is. You are much more than you can ever imagine. You're much more beautiful. You're much more intelligent. You're much more useful. You're much more you than you could ever imagine. And it's so important that we don't try to limit ourselves with definitions. Words can't even start to touch on the depth that you hold within you, that we each hold within ourselves, that I hold within me. He who has power over others can't empower himself. I mean, we can look at people who have had power over others for centuries. And were they truly powerful? And what is power? For me, power is being able to be here in the moment and be content with the way things are. It might not be what power is to everybody, but I definitely don't want power over others. That's why I work with my clients the way I do. I want other people to make their lives theirs as they need to. And I want to respect how everybody does that for themselves. He who clings to his work will create nothing that endures. Don't cling. Don't cling. It's so much It can be so difficult. It can be so difficult to not cling to our work. We really want our work to have meaning, and we want to define ourselves by our work, so we have something to ground ourselves with. But if we're doing that, it's not going to be anything that endures. If you want to accord the Tao, just do your job and then let go. And let go. The job is done. You may never see the rewards of that job, but the job is done. Okay, that's 24. I really enjoyed going through that with you guys. If anybody is on and would like to pick a number between 1 and 81, I would love to talk with you about the Tao. Otherwise, I'll wrap this up shortly. Once again, this is Tao of the Day. The Tao translates as the Canon of Reason, and the Canon of Reason is the translation that I'm using today is Stephen Mitchell. He's the husband of Byron Katie. He's a Tao, scholar and all that kind of stuff. So that's wonderful. If you have a number between 1 and 81 that's just burning inside of you, join me, and then we can talk about the Tao. Come on, pick a number between 1 and 81, and we'll go through it. This doesn't require you to know the Tao. It doesn't require you to be familiar, even believe in the Tao. And there's really nothing to believe in. It's entitled The Canon of Reason. It's just about living a reasonable life, living in a space of reason, living in a space where you are a master in your life. And you are. We went through chapter 24 today, so if you have a number other than 24, even if you have 24, we can go through it together again. I love 24 because it wraps up with this: just do your work and then let go. Just do your work and let go. Stop trying to follow your work to some end. Stop trying to say my work is important, because it's not. Like our work, the work that we do is just what we do, and it's part of a bigger picture. And so if we can just let go, then we can be a part of that bigger picture, rather than having to come in and define ourselves and make sure that we shine and do all of these wonderful things that we think are going to give us like praise. Because like 24 said, if you cling to your work, it's not going to endure. So if anyone's out there and has a number within them, please, between 1 and 81, join me and we'll talk about the Tao. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and drop out. You guys are great. I love talking on wisdom because this is just a platform to get deep, to get deep and to get connected. I love to connect with you guys. If you're out there on Instagram, find my Instagram account, shoot me a DM, and I can introduce you to things like the Tao and recovery. I talk about recovery all the time. 1 o'clock today, 1 o'clock Central today, I will be talking about recovery and the tough love movement. How tough love has has been misunderstood over the years. I am not a tough love advocate. I am a harm reductionist, and I think tough love really empowers or enables harm. So if you're interested in that, check me out at 1 o'clock Central. I'll be here talking about that. All right. I love you all individually and as a group. I'm Martin John. This is a Recover Yourself production. Until next time, keep recovering yourself.